You guys, this whole situation between Nicki Minaj and Cardi B has gotten completely out of hand. The drama didn't just stop after last week, it's actually gotten worse. Their Twitter battle has been going nonstop, and at this point, it's a total mess that everyone's watching unfold. Now, we all know that Nicki and Cardi have had tension for years. Their feud goes way back, but things really blew up back in 2018 at the Harper's Bazaar Icons party during New York Fashion Week. That's when they had that physical altercation, and Cardi was seen leaving with that bump on her forehead. Remember that? Ever since then, it's been on site between them. And honestly, with how things are going now, it feels like history might repeat itself if they ever cross paths again. Over the past week, both have been firing shots nonstop. I already covered part of it before, but the situation just hasn't cooled down at all. They've been throwing shade about music, family, and even bringing in people who aren't involved. It all kicked off again when Cardi B dropped her new album, Am I the Drama? And right after that, Nicki Minaj posted $4.99 on X, clearly mocking the album's price on iTunes. Cardi wasted no time clapping back, saying Nicki should be comparing herself to Drake, Taylor Swift, Beyoncé, and Rihanna, not to newer artists like her. That's when things took a nasty turn. They started dragging each other's kids into it. Nicki mentioned Cardi's daughter. Culture, and Cardi hit back by talking about Nicki's son, Papa Bear. From that point on, it's been a nonstop storm on X tweets, clapbacks, and constant deletions. At this point, neither of them seems ready to back down. Every single day, it's another round, and fans are watching it all unfold like a live soap opera. At one point this week, things between Cardi B and Nicki Minaj went from heated to downright explosive. Cardi didn't hold back. She straight up called out Nicki for being online on her own son's birthday, tweeting, "Girl, it's your son's birthday. Why are you on Twitter dedicating essays to me? For the love of God, go to Chuck E. Cheese." That was just the start. Cardi continued firing back at everything Nicki had been posting throughout the day. She tweeted, "When have I ever had a seizure? You the one that went on that award show saying you ain't want to call 911 after you was shaken from the overdose." Then she added, "Talking about a knot, miss. I'm standing right here." Alongside that, she posted a photo from their infamous Harper's Bazaar party fight, a clear reminder of their real-life clash back in 2018. Cardi didn't stop there. She went on saying, "Damn, how you pressed over an album you ain't got hit in. Feelings hurt 'cause I ain't paid her no attention. You haven't even cut your effing kid's cake. My God, it's 6 how in LA. You must have took your first line of the day." And then, things crossed an even more personal line. Cardi warned, "Let this be the last time you mention my kids before I spill the tea on yours while you talking about ABCs. You can leave me the F alone today. I'm sick of you." B. She defended her daughter too, saying, "You wish you could call my daughter ugly. Culture is beautiful, and you know your hate is so deep, dark, and nasty." From there, Cardi said things that shocked fans across social media, accusing Nicki of being jealous of other people's children and taking it even further by mentioning Nicki's son. "Papa Bear, I'm sorry you can't speak in banging spoons because your mom couldn't put the down. I'm sorry your mom not even paying attention to you on your own birthday because she's such an obsessed and dark-spirited hating." She ended that outburst with, "Drop the Addy right now and don't go tagging the feds and police like you did 3 months ago. Shut the F up." The internet went into chaos after that. Fans were in shock, saying this was one of the most brutal exchanges the two rappers have ever had online. Cardi didn't slow down one bit. She went even harder. She tweeted, "You've been having stains in your mouth since you was a minor 'cause your daddy used to tell the world. That's why you wake up so effing miserable, 'cause you hurt and full of trauma and trying to apply it to everybody else. And why the F you keep bringing up Roc Nation? I'm not signed to them, you delusional, paranoid sniffing." Now, honestly, that line about Roc Nation makes sense if you've been following the backstory. It looks like Nicki might have been triggered after hearing that Cardi B sampled one of Jay-Z's tracks for her new album. Cardi even said in an interview that Jay-Z personally gave her permission to use the sample, and she was super thankful about it. But Nicki has had her own issues with Roc Nation lately. She's been calling out Jay-Z, posting about him, and throwing shade toward Roc Nation as a whole. So when Cardi proudly mentioned that connection, it might have set Nicki off even more. Still, Cardi wasn't having it. She clapped back again, saying, "You said vulture what? Blank that slow son that came out your... You was wishing so much negativity on me while I was pregnant. And look at your karma. Look what your rotten produced. Now he a whole 5-year-old tippy-toeing around the house and can't spell his name." It didn't stop there. Cardi added, You lying funky feet. Nobody called the cops on you. Your dumb man went online talking ish and doing threats while he was on probation, dummy. You was talking tough. Now you talking about find us. Drop the addy, you fake. And that phrase, drop the addy, became her main line all week. She said it again and again, basically challenging Nicki to pull up and fight right then and there. But honestly, as entertaining as the internet found it, the part that had everyone uncomfortable was how both of them kept dragging each other's kids into it. The things Cardi said about Nicki's son were brutal, way beyond rap beef. Fans everywhere were begging them to stop bringing the children into this mess. Then Cardi turned the album price clapback back on Nicki. Why roast her for selling a record at $4.99 when Nicki once priced hers at $5? She demanded action. But stop all this talking. Where you at? You said you was going to cave my sister's chest in. Check in our DMs and ain't seen it yet. Everybody up and waiting. Drop the addy right now. Basically, she kept baiting Nicki to show up and settle it face to face. Nicki answered, with brutal, mocking lines aimed at Cardi's family and looks, going after her daughter and mocking pregnancies, then saying things like, "I'ma kick your gums back into formation." She also called out fans and bots, shading Cardi's circle and throwing insults about appearance and money. Cardi fired back furious denials and reminded everyone she never mentioned Nicki's child before, saying jealousy over kids was something else entirely and repeating that Nicki's obsession with her kids was wild and cruel. Through all of this, the worst thing is how the kids keep getting dragged into the middle. That's what made a lot of fans say enough is enough. This beef started over music and clout, but it's moved on to personal attacks that feel way too heavy, especially with children being insulted. Fans are begging both sides to stop using family as ammunition, because this has gone past normal rap drama and into something ugly. Cardi wrote this long message to Nicki like she was closing a chapter. She said it was her last response for now, but she didn't hold back before signing off. She started by calling out stuff Nicki had said about her family and childhood, pointing out that Nicki once admitted she still hadn't forgiven her mother. Cardi used that to say Nicki's childhood trauma shows up in how she acts now, and that living with untreated pain doesn't help anyone. Cardi went on to say Nicki needs real help, therapy, not more online fights. She accused Nicki's husband of letting her numb out so he can use her credit cards, claiming Nicki keeps letting toxic people into her life who later spill everything into the streets. Cardi painted a picture of someone surrounded by chaos, fans who hype her but no real friends or family there to steady her. She made it clear she wasn't willing to ruin her own career and brand by dragging this out with someone she described as unstable, and ended with a firm, "I'll see you when I see you." Then Nicki fired back short and sharp, warning Cardi to stop coming for her kids and mocking Cardi's reaction. She wrote, "I'm letting you know, stop playing with my kids. You just mad because your son's favorite color is 5. Get the F on you, head." Nicki even reposted stuff online that seemed to make fun of Cardi's daughter's gums. Cardi answered with something heavy and personal, saying, "Quiet as kept, the truth is, you've been diagnosed with schizophrenia and bipolar for almost 9 years, and you also heavy on and you don't listen to nobody around you. The only person that have the power is Kenneth Petty. But you know what happens with that AMX when you sedated?" That line was raw and shocking. She accused Nicki of serious mental health struggles and suggested Nicki relies on drugs and one person to control things. Nicki's response went wide and public. She tried to claim a moral high ground, addressing Black women directly and promising she'd never insult a Black baby again or call Black women names. She wrote, "Dear Black women, I can guarantee you that we'll never ever get on my net and discuss another Black baby again. I can guarantee you that we'll never ever call Black women roaches and monkeys again." Someone had to do it. She also defended herself by saying other artists had stayed quiet while she was the one publicly mocked for how she parents her son. "It's funny how all the other queens stayed quiet while she mocked my son for years." So both sides ended up trading personal blows, not just career shots. Cardi focused on trauma, therapy, and calling out what she sees as Nicki's dangerous patterns. Nicki swung back by shouting about her own pain and defending her family, while pointing fingers at Cardi for past mockery. The whole exchange kept getting more intense and personal, and it moved the fight from music and clout into territory that feels dangerous and private. Fans watching the thread were stunned. This wasn't just a typical rapper argument anymore. It became a messy fight about family, mental health, and reputation, with both women airing private stuff in public. Cardi jumped online saying she never mocked Nicki's son. She explained that she was just showing off how smart her own kids are, proud that her 3-year-old could spell his name. But somehow that turned into Nicki's fans attacking her son, Wave. Cardi said even her sister had to step in because people were going too far. She claimed all of this came from insecurity, that Nicki and her fan base couldn't handle seeing another mother proud of her child. She challenged Nicki to show proof, saying, "Bring the receipts. When did I ever mock your son?" Cardi made it clear she wasn't letting the narrative get twisted again like it did back in 2018. Even when people told her to just stop replying, she refused, saying Nicki was deleting tweets to make it look like she was the victim. Cardi stood her ground, saying that being proud of her child isn't the same as mocking someone else's. She even pointed out that when Nicki showed off her son's long hair while he was playing with spoons, she never took that as shade. Then Nicki came back hard. She told her fans that the general public had just sold out her entire tour and claimed the people calling her fake or washed up were just paid bots spreading lies. She told her supporters, the Barbs, that everyone sees the truth but pretends not to because they're being paid to act blind. Nicki also bragged that she had 5 albums charting at once and accused Cardi's team of stirring up drama just to get attention for her music, calling her Barney B and mocking her album's flop. Cardi wasn't having it. She clapped back saying, "Girl, stop pretending you care about black women when you've beefed with almost every one of them in the industry." She mentioned SEA, even hinted at Nicki throwing slick shade toward Beyoncé, 2 of the most respected women in music, while constantly praising white artists who barely acknowledge her. Cardi ended it by saying she'll always speak her mind, and that nobody's scared of Nicki. And after all that chaos, both of them eventually apologized, not to each other directly, but at least to each other's kids. Kind of a half step toward peace, even if the damage was already done. Then things took an even more shocking turn when Nicki decided to write a message directly addressed to Cardi's daughter, Culture. Nicki said, "Dear Culture, truth is I did all of this for a bigger purpose, and one day you'll understand. You're a cute child, and like many kids, you'll grow into your features. I'm sorry, as a child of God and a queen in my community, because you don't deserve any of this. You're innocent. One day, your mother and others will be brought to their knees for what they've done to my son. Take care, my darling. This isn't who I am." That message shocked people everywhere, but what came next made it worse. Cardi decided to write her own letter, this time aimed at Nicki's son. She wrote, "Dear Papa Perk, I'm sorry your mom hasn't cut your birthday cake in 3 days because she can't handle my success. I hope when you grow up you learn that when a girl says no, it means no. You can overcome the blood you inherited from your grandfather, father, and uncle. Don't hate me when you grow up. Your mom just gives me more attention than she gives you. Hopefully when someone who truly cares gets her into rehab, she comes out and reads you a book." By this point, the situation had completely spiraled. What started as a Twitter argument had turned into something darker, both of them dragging each other's children into their fight. Fans couldn't believe how personal and messy it got. Now this is where things stand. These letters to each other's kids are the latest update in the Nicki and Cardi chaos, and the internet is divided. Since then, Nicki has been posting about Taylor Swift's new album, sharing her achievements, and talking about songs from the life of a showgirl. Meanwhile, Cardi's been trying to push her own album, saying she's had one of the craziest weeks ever. It's been nothing short of a storm. Messy, emotional, and impossible to look away from. But that's the current state of the Nicki versus Cardi drama. What do you think about all this? Drop your thoughts down below. I'll be reading every single one. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.